Today, we're going to make custom creative mode tabs so we can put all of our custom blocks and custom items under these tabs in the creative mode menu. And this is actually a lot simpler than you probably are expecting. This is going to be a very short, quick video. If you haven't seen the other videos in this series, I recommend checking them out, and let's get right into this. So back here in IntelliJ, we're going to have to create a new item group, and we're going to create a ModItemGroup class. And I figure the best place to do that would just be in the items package because, well, it's very related to items here. So let's do new Java class in the items package, and we're going to call it ModItemGroups. Now inside this class, it's going to be very important that we add right down here a public static void register item groups method right here. And then inside here, example mod.logger.info. And we're just going to say registering item groups for, and then just out here plus example mod.modID, which we'll see right here. Boom. All right. So now we've got this method. Now we can come into the example mod class over here in our onInitialize function, and we're going to make a call to it. So let's just come down here and say ModItemGroups.register item groups, and it imports the proper class when we do that. And now we've called this method in our onInitialize function. Now we need to go back and actually, well, register these item groups. So coming back in here, let's go up to the top inside our ModItemGroups class. At the very top, we're going to say public static, if I can type correctly, public static final item group. And this is actually very important right here. Make sure you're importing item group from net.minecraft.item, not item groups, but item group. So hover over that and then hit tab, and it'll import the proper one for you. And then we're going to call this moonstone underscore items underscore group, and set this equal to registry, and make sure you're hovering over registry from net.minecraft.registry. You're going to import the proper one or else this won't work. .register, and then inside the brackets or parentheses, we're going to say registries, and make sure to hit tab to import .item group, comma, and then we're going to pass in an identifier of. You can see it suggests right there, just hit tab. And now this is going to be the name. So the name is going to be example mod.modID, comma, moonstone underscore items. All right, and do a comma right here. Now we can add a fabric item group right here, .builder.build, and then semicolon. Now between the builder and build right here, we can just make a new line. All right. And then actually put the semicolon there. And between here, we're going to add a few important things. So we're going to call the icon method right here. Inside the parentheses, add more parentheses, and we're going to pass it a supplier, and we're going to say new item stack right there. And here we pass in mod items.moonstone underscore or raw moonstone or. Let's pass in that. Now, basically what this does is it's making the icon for the item group the raw moonstone ore. So that little PNG that we had over here, if we come down to textures, item, raw moonstone ore.png, this right here is going to be the texture that we use for that item group. Now down below, let's just say .display name. So we're going to give it a display name. And in here we need a text.translatable. And you could see we could just tab to autocomplete right there. And inside here, we're going to give it a string, and we'll say item group dot example mod dot moonstone underscore items. So this right here is giving us a translatable name for the item group that we just defined ourselves right here. And we're going to end up translating it in our other JSON folder. And I believe I actually have an extra parentheses right here that I don't need. Let me just get rid of these. Okay, perfect. So yeah, add an extra set of parentheses. But now we can hit enter and dot entries. And inside here, what we're going to type is display context. And you'll see this lambda pops up right here. Just hover over it, click on it, and hit tab. And it'll just auto fill that in for you. And it'll say display context, comma, entries, and then add curly braces. And inside here is where we are actually going to add the new items to the item group. It's where we're going to specify which items we want added to this group, which are going to be the moonstone ore items. So we'll say entries.add, and then inside here, we're going to say mod items tab.raw underscore moonstone underscore ore. So now in this item group, the raw moonstone ore is going to be added to it. So we're going to find it. And then let's add another entries.add, and let's add not the raw moonstone ore, but the moonstone underscore ingot. So let's type that in and then delete this right here, and perfect. So now we've added these two items to this brand new item group or creative mode tab. Now let's just fix up the format here a little bit. And now we have one item group, but we need another item group for our custom blocks. So let's actually add a second one of those. And to do that, we're just gonna highlight all this right here and hit Control D to duplicate it. And now let's give this a new line down here and make a couple changes. So we want this to be called moonstone underscore blocks underscore group. So let's change that, change the name right here. Let me minimize this so we can see better. And inside here, we're gonna call this moonstone blocks. So we'll change that, change the name right there. And then down below, we change the name here also. Instead of moonstone underscore items, it's gonna be moonstone underscore blocks. And we also wanna change the icon associated with it. So we'll come here and change this from mod items to mod blocks. And then I forgot to import it. So type in mod blocks and then tab, it'll import it. And then instead of raw moonstone ore, we'll just call it moonstone underscore block. Perfect. And now we just need to change the entries. So instead of having these items added to it, let's just say entries.add mod blocks, because it's not a mod item, mod blocks.moonstone underscore block. Let's add the other block to it, entries.add mod blocks.moonstone underscore ore underscore block, semicolon. All right, with this done here now, we can come up and copy this key that we have. It's gonna be a translatable key. So just Control C and then come into our lang en underscore us.json folder or file. And right on in here, we're just going to say Control V, paste it. And the translation, we will make it moonstone items. All right, and then we want to add this one more time. So just highlight it and then Control D, it'll duplicate it for you. Create a new line though, make sure to add a comma right there. And then for this one, what we're gonna do is we're going to call it, we're just gonna change it to blocks. And then this right here, we'll just change that to blocks also. And there's the translations. So now when we go in game, the item group will actually be named moonstone blocks or moonstone items. And that is actually it for making the item group. That's all we needed to do. If we go back to mod item groups, if you wanted to make another one, you could just highlight this and then Control D and make a whole new group if you'd like, simply by just changing the name and the translation, the icon, and then whatever you want added to it. So with all that done, let's actually hop into the game and see these item groups for ourselves. So Minecraft client, hit run. All right, we've got the game loaded up. Let's go into our example world and full screen right here, just so we don't have to deal with that tiny little window. And this is the same world we were in, so we got the blocks and the items here, you can see. But now when we open up our creative menu, you can see we have this little page tab right here. We can hit this, and here we go. Moonstone blocks and moonstone items. And here's our items, here's our blocks. And that is how you make a custom creative mode tab in Minecraft 1.21. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you learned something, then stick around for the next video because you'll learn something in that one also. And yeah, thanks for watching.